Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today we're going to be taking a look at a lot of JP content and a lot of global content in 3 different videos to try and keep the video a little more specific and a little bit more, well, time less lengthy. Just because, you know, some of the videos can be pretty long when there is a massive dump of content, and there has been a massive dump of content today for JP, because even if some of the stuff isn't accessible yet, the data's in the game, so we might as well take a look at it, and that text is actually just, there we go. I feel better. So anyway, in honor of Y'shtola, and who is known as Matoya in the new Shadowbringers content, there is a brand new unit that is free, provided that you do play the JP side. And I mean that in a little bit more, like in a more serious way when I say you have to play. Because for the entire month of July, players on the JP side have been basically getting what are called DX tickets from daily missions. At this point, anybody who has all of the tickets that have been available is approximately 105. Why is this important? Well, JP is doing a box-style version. In the first box, there is Y'shtola's base unit. In the second box, there is the Prism, and in the third box, there is the Super TMR Moogle, with some different items between each one. But so far, the first 2 boxes take up approximately, I think it's around 95 tickets worth? Something like that, 95 or 96. I can't exactly remember what the Discord told me, but shoutouts to the Discord. And the final box is about 100, so you're looking at about 196 tickets needed. There are a slew of new tickets available in the game on the JP side that you can get by doing various missions. Some of them very easy, like just doing a big chain. Some of them incredibly difficult, like trying to do 50 arena things, arena matches. They're not arena things, they're arena matches. So there is still a fair amount of grinding for JP players who want to get everything out of the box, but for those who are just looking for Y'shtola and the Prism, if you have about 90 tickets, you should be fine, and that's assuming that you don't get lucky, because it is luck of the draw when you get it. However, Y'shtola's Super TMR is pretty nice, so you'll probably want that too. Anyway, so today we're going to take a look at not only this, but what the units get for the series boss battle, because Final Fantasy XIV series boss battle has also come out. For people who are wondering about Final Fantasy X I will cover in its own video. So first, let's actually talk about the series boss battle, because the series boss battle is something to get out of the way. It should also be noted that there is a weapon enhancement raid currently going on for FF14. The way it works is that for bringing FF14 units, you will have a higher chance for rare abilities to drop, and there are special rare abilities that are only for Final Fantasy XIV equipment. These rare abilities are super powerful, but the equipment is not so great and is unit specific, so yeah. The event is pretty cool. It does cover some Heavensward content in Final Fantasy XIV, specifically dealing with Nidhogg. So shoutouts to that. That's really, really cool. But if you're wondering if the equipment is really that great, not overly. I mean, the best thing is probably the rod, and it is still only 105 magic, although minus 10% MP cost. It's pretty nice. Anyway, continuing on, series boss battle. Y'shtola, regular 5 to 6 star Y'shtola, will get a any magic except blue magic multicast 4 times. That's right. She can actually quadricast any spell that is not blue magic. So white magic, green magic, anything like that. That's kind of interesting. She also gets magic, spirit, and MP plus 40%, and increase equipment magic, either dual wielding or true dual handing, 100% for each. And I'm actually going to take these headphones off because I realized I'm waiting for a delivery. It didn't happen yet, but it's just popped into my mind. Anyway, so she can either be built as true dual wield or true dual hand. She doesn't have dual wield, so I mean this is minor fixes. But anyway, continuing on, Menphelia gets double casting of a lot of her elemental buffs, as well as all of her stats up 30% and 10% elemental resistance. Papalimo, and I think I said that right, gets triple casting of some of his abilities, magic up by 15% and 50% true dual hand or dual wield magic. Ida gets casting 3 times of some of her abilities, as well as attack, defense, HP 40% and increased modifiers for some of her abilities. Thancred is a 3-star, and I probably shouldn't, but you know what? I love 14 so much that I will give it just more attention. Thancred gets a physical damage, ignoring defense to all enemies, as well as decreased defense and spirit for 3 turns to all enemies. And also some 8 attack, defense, and HPs with 10% physical evasion. All in all, not bad. Definitely, I mean, considering that they're just 3 to 5-star units, but there are no 7-star units here, the series boss battles are, you know, fairly nice, and I expect the 14 series boss battle to be considerably easier than the other, considering that these are the bonus units. And for people wondering, no, new Y'shtola does not get a series boss battle enhancement. And while some people have said, well, this version of Y'shtola is from later, so it doesn't make sense, come on, seriously? Anyway, I'm a little disappointed that Y'shtola doesn't get anything from the series boss battle. It would be nice. However, for now that we can, you know, just ease right into the talk about Y'shtola, Y'shtola is actually probably the best free unit that we have seen in the game. She is really, really good. A good amount of HP, a great amount of MP. Defense is nothing overly great. Spirit is 208, and Magic is 220. That is one of the highest Magic stats currently in the game. And an extra 65 points put in. There's no slacking on Y'shtola's kit. And for anybody who's wondering, yes, Y'shtola is a Chaos Wielder, but a Chaos Wave Chainer, I should say, but really nice. I think I should probably talk about her TMR at some point. It's Magic Boost. I guess I talked about it in the other video. Let's focus on her kit, because I have a lot of other videos to record tonight. Limit Burst is Ethereal Wind. Maxed out, it is a level 40 Limit Burst, much as all the other CGs. It should be noted that Y'shtola got as much love really in her kit as any of the other CG main protagonists that we've seen, and that's great. Level 40, her Limit Burst only costs 30 crystals, which is pretty damn cheap, and like all the other CG characters, she does start with her Limit Burst ready. It is a wind magic, 20 times mod, ignoring 50% spirit for all enemies, so it is pretty damn strong in wind attack that also enables quadricasting for 4 turns, which is, again, really, 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 just really, 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 really good. Passive-wise, she has a fair amount of HP, Spirit, MP. She has 5% MP recovery per turn. She has boosts for equipping a robe or a rod. She has 150% true dual hand magic already in her kit, which is a fair amount. She has auto cast abilities. She has extra HP, and for getting up to level 120, she actually gets a nice modifier increase for a whole bunch of her abilities. So passive-wise, she's pretty nice. She doesn't have any, you know, guts ability that will help her survive a fatal attack, but her kit is really, really strong. She has 2 abilities in her kit, Transformer Fire and Earth, or there's one other one, Transformer Ice and Water, which basically unlocks a couple of her other abilities. She has Scion's Fire, Fyra, Scion's Stone, Scion's Stoneja, Scion's Blizzard, Scion's Blizzard, as well as Water and Watera. Each of these abilities are stacking Chaos Wave Chainers. Basically, her kit works in this way. It has access to almost every element in the game except for light and dark, which makes sense. Those are 2 skills that are not available. 2 black mages, and yes, I know it's a little more complicated than that, but for the sake of this video and trying to keep it relatively short, let's keep going. So basically, she has a basic fire ability as well as a advanced fire ability. The basic fire, and she has this for, you know, also her other abilities too, or other elements too. But the way it works is the first one will power up the other ability for, so if you use the basic one, it gives a modifier increase for 5 turns that can't be dispelled to the bigger one, and the bigger one is a chain stacking damage. For instance, the 2 elements that she excels the most in are fire and earth. Fire starts off at an 8.5 times mod, with a consecutive increase of 4 times of 3.5 to each, to a grand total of 22.5 times modifier. Now, if you consider the fact that she has basically in her kit constant access to quadricasting through one ability or another, her modifier is well over 100 that she has accessible to every turn. And let me put that into perspective for people who don't understand. That is more powerful than CG Dark Fina, the Fest one. CG Y'shtola, who is a free unit to people who have been playing the game, is actually better than a current Fest unit, and a particularly powerful Fest mage too. So Y'shtola doesn't just come as a really good mage. She's actually a Fest quality level mage that is free in the game. Of course, you have to work for your tickets, but hey, global people, you know what it's like to work for your stuff. Anyway, continuing on, she does have the earth as well as the fire abilities. She has basically constant access to triple casting, and quadricasting is very unlockable through a lot of other stuff, and her quadricasting is accessible through a lot of abilities. Continuing on, just talking about that, she has basically thunder and arrow abilities that are always available to her. Both thunder and arrow end up with a 25 chaos wave chaining stacking mod. Not necessarily the best, but also not the worst too. She also has petite meteor, which does non-elemental damage, so her kit is very well rounded. She also has a fairly strong, I believe, oh, maybe that was, no, never mind. It's called Scion's Foul, which is a magic damage attack with a 30 times mod to all enemies, and increases her limit gauge by 4 for each cast. And I do believe that, let me just double check. I do, well, no, it might not be, let's see if it's under quadricasting. If it is, I apologize, but I do believe that one, her 30 times mod is not. It's also not a cooldown ability, so it kind of makes sense that it is not, because that would be insanely stronger than she already is. Anyway, getting back to it, she does have some other stuff that should be noted too. For using either her Transformer Fire Earth, it does actually power up her fire ability and earth abilities too, and her Transformer Ice and Water also gives her not only those water abilities, but also refreshes her MP 750 MP split over 5 turns, and recovers instantly 150 MP to the caster. So she has a really good amount of MP regeneration that is fairly accessible to her at all times. And that is actually true to Final Fantasy XIV mechanics of switching back and forth between, I think it's Astral Fire and Umbra Ice. Don't kill me, I don't play Black Mage in Final Fantasy XIV, I play White Mage. Anyway, her cooldown abilities are, first of all, Element Master, 5-turn cooldown, available turn 1, increase Magic and Spirit 200% for 3 turns to the caster, enables quadricasting for 4 turns to the caster, and as well, another one, Mavalia, it's not quite right. I'm trying to think. I didn't think about it before this. Anyway, 5-turn cooldown, available turn 1, mitigate damage taken 40% for 3 turns to all allies. A very strong damage mitigation, but also grants an HP barrier of 2,000 for 3 turns to all allies. For someone with such strong offense, this is actually incredible support. And with 2 Y'shtolas on the field, like you and a friend unit, you can basically have constant 40% damage mitigation up, as well as, you know, every couple turns get a HP barrier. It's pretty strong. There's no doubt in my mind that Y'shtola is particularly strong. If I was to pick apart two major parts of Y'shtola's kit that are lacking, first of all, no killers. Not necessarily that there needed to be, but killers would have been nice to have and just make her a little bit stronger, but her modifiers are already plenty good. This is just me being very greedy. The second thing that could have improved her, and is very obviously missing from her kit, is elemental debuffing. She has no way to debuff the elements that she currently uses. She has an incredibly high modifier, and for people who are wondering, to put that in perspective, and who think that elemental not having a debuff in a unit's kit will hurt that unit, I would say that give the example of Chocobofina, who is by far one of the highest damage units on JP for a good long amount of time, and did not have good elemental debuffing options in her kit. So do not underestimate Y'shtola. She is an incredibly powerful mage that outpowers a Fest unit, and even without killers or anything else in her kit, she is very, 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 very strong. And she has a cool limit burst and all of that other good stuff. So Y'shtola, big 2 thumbs up for what is basically the best free unit that we have ever seen in the game. And all I can say is one of the best Final Fantasies ever. Hey, I snuck it in there right at the end. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.